So, now on our Christmas Day show, I've got Paul Coates-Black with me once again as we count down the Christmas chart from 1993. Wow, I got my first CD, Christmas 1993.
What was it?
Wet, Wet, Wet's End of Part 1. Their greatest hits. I played that over, and I'll tell you what I played. And it was from Woolworths. For years, it had the Woolworths $12.99 sticker on. I got that CD, got some airplay. It did.
My sister loved Wet, 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 so consequently I hated Wet. My wife Lou, she likes Wet, 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 and I still haven't admitted that.
Next, you're going to tell me you didn't buy Love Is All Around.
I didn't.
Oh, I did. I did buy Love Is All Around. I did. One of the millions.
Yeah, I probably bought a lot of CDs in '93. We're a decade apart age-wise, aren't we?
So, that's true. That's true.
So by then I was a student at university and obviously didn't have any money, but spent what little I did.
Not on Wet, Wet, Wet.
Not on Wet, 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 no.
But like you say, tell us a little bit about the chart in '93.
Okay, so unlike a decade earlier, which had seen a large number of novelty records in this chart, in this one there was just two. The wrestler Hulk Hogan would appear with the band rock band Green Jelly, and there would be another song. Now, this is a term I use loosely, which appeared much higher in the chart, and we'll find out about that in a little while. Towards the end of the 80s, we'd seen classic songs be hits off the back of appearances in TV ads, and this chart reflected that. Also, with reissued songs from artists such as Soul Asylum, Doobie Brothers, Frank Sinatra did a duet with U2.
Really?
And inside the top 10, it will be no different, as it started at number 10 with
Frankie Goes to Hollywood and The Power of Love. So I'm guessing that was a re-release. That
must have been. Yeah. I think back in the early 90s, they did a release of Relax and Two Tribes, and they repackaged their greatest hits.
So
I bet it was around that sort of time. Yeah, super vague memories. A couple of artists at number 9 that had previously done a number 1 duet. Not familiar with this song title, but Elton John and Kiki D, True Love.
Can I just say before we carry on the charts, that is a good song that you never hear, and it's a nice, just soft song. I do like that one. I won't sing it. Number 8, Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, another reissue.
Dina Carroll, The Perfect Year, was at number 7.
Number 6, Meatloaf appears again with I'd Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That.
And this is just after it had a long stint at number 1 with that.
Right.
It was on its way down.
Down the charts.
Number 5, E17, It's All Right.
And at number 4 is the Bee Gees, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I can't say I'm familiar with that one.
Oh, it's a brilliant song.
Is it a good song?
Yeah, it's a really good song. I bought that one on CD single. I remember that song.
See?
I've still got that song on CD single.
I'm going to have to check that out.
It's one of their great singles, in my opinion.
But at number 3, what was the number 3, Paul?
Number 3 was that well-remembered band, Chakademus and Players. This was, they did Twist and Shout. It was their second week of its 11-week top 40 run. It would spend next week at number 3 also, before spending 2 further weeks on the top of the charts. The most successful song of the 6 that had the duo Howard in the UK charts. This was the final of 3 songs released in '93, following Tease Me, which was probably their biggest single, and She Don't Let Nobody, both of which were also top 5 hits. None of the 3 singles from '94 would climb any higher than 19, leaving them a briefly successful career in the UK. However, they continue to remain successful to this day in their native country of Jamaica. Of the 3 hits from '93, only Tease Me was written by the duo, with the others being covers of Curtis Mayfield and Isley Brothers songs. Of course, this was made more famous by the Beatles.
It's a good little song, though. It's quite a lively song. You wouldn't put it in the Christmas chart, but it's quite a lively song, isn't it?
Version.
It is. Obviously totally different from the Beatles version, but yeah, Chakademus and Players. So what was at number 2? It was Take That and Babe. It was the 4th single from the band's second album, Everything Changes, written by Gary Barlow, features Mark Owen on lead vocals. So the song was released on the 6th of December 1993, and it became Take That's 3rd single in a row to go straight to number 1 on the UK singles chart, knocking a song off the charts that we'll hear in a minute. But when Take That reached the top, the song that they knocked off the number 1 spot returned to the top of the charts. That doesn't happen often, anyway, does it?
Especially not nowadays.
No, it certainly doesn't nowadays, no. But it's still probably not the most familiar Take That song, is it?
I mean, it's a ballad. I guess you tend to find that stuff like Relight My Fire, Pray, Back for Good probably are the bit Never Forget. They're probably the big take, that one from the first time round that are sort of played all the time. I actually saw Take That a year after this. Went with a few friends to Sheffield Arena. Barmy, strange gig. I was, what was it? I'd have been about 19 at the time. And yeah, we've got very, very, very varied tastes. We'd previously been to see the Shaman, who'd had a massive number one with Ebenezer Good, you'll recall, earlier on in 93 or 92, I think we saw them. But we just thought, yeah, it was good music. The reason I say it was a strange gig was because from the moment you walked in, there was just constant screaming of teenage.
It's like a bit like a Beatles concert.
It was very much
probably.
like a Beatles concert, and that persisted all the way through. But absolutely amazing. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. I have seen them once or twice since. I'm trying to think. I saw them on the Great Six tour a few years ago at Huddersfield, but yeah, I've seen them a few times, and great performers, good vocalists, good choreography from within the band. They had Lulu supporting with them. So
wow!
She came out and did Relight My Fire. So that was great. When they did the Babe video, or the performance of Babe, they've got a door frame on stage, and then they've got video shot from the back so that Mark Owen approached the door. And the song basically is about him going home to his old girlfriend, and she disappears, and behind is the child that he recognises. He had my face, he had my eyes. And so the girlfriend sort of melts away to reveal this child sort of stood in the doorway.
Very clever.
So very, very, very well performed.
Yeah.
Great song. Yeah. Maybe a guilty secret, but I love Take That. I think they're a great band.
We just need to get you on Wet, Wet, Wet now.
Interestingly, 6 more singles would be released after this had been number one, and Only Love Ain't Here Anymore would not go to number one. That was due to the success of 2 songs, I Swear by All For One, which spent 7 weeks at number one, and the artist that you've just mentioned, Wet, 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 which had 15 weeks on top of the charts with Love Is All Around. But this is Take That and Babe.
So, what was number one in Christmas 1993? Well, you can't hide the fact that it was Mr. Blobby. I still can't get over the fact that it was Mr. Blobby. But it was, if you want to know what Mr. Blobby was, it was a novelty song performed by character Mr. Blobby, famous for appearing in the BBC One TV programme Noel's House Party. The song originally peaked at number one, but like we said, then it kind of lost its space and reclaimed the top spot. So it spent a total of 3 weeks at number one. The single reached number one, replacing Meatloaf's I'd Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That. An MTV critic said that Mr. Blobby tried to kill music with what might be the worst song of all time. The video features Noel Edmonds, Carol Vorderman, Wayne Sleep, Garth Crooks, and Jeremy Clarkson as well, who plays Mr. Blobby's limo driver. It premiered on BBC One during Noel's House Party 2 days before the single was released. Noel's House Party, you forget how massive it was.
It was like Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway now, isn't it?
Yeah, it ran from 1991
massive.
1991 to 1999 for 169 episodes, plus a further 15 specials. But it was Saturday night television. Just everyone watched it, didn't they? It was
they did.
For years. But I can't believe that it got to number one. Really,
I mean, there's A, the fact it got to number one. There's B, the fact that it knocked Meatloaf and Take That off number one. It sold 600,000 copies in the process. What did you?
No, I didn't buy Mr.
You didn't
Blobby.
buy it. I didn't buy it,
no.
but as I said, I was at university, so I seem to think this was the year that one of my friends bought me Mr. Blobby, and the other close friend bought me a mug of the football team that I don't support from Sheffield.
Oh, I see.
That's what friends are for, isn't it? I don't know if I've got the Mr. Blobby's testicle stuck.
Have you got the mug?
Somewhere. Probably not.
No, probably not.
A long time ago. The video for the song that you mentioned, as well as who it featured, it was spoofing a variety of different well-known pop videos, such as Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer, Stay by Shakespeare's Sister, Snap's Rhythm is a Dancer, and Genesis's I Can't Dance. I'm ashamed to say, and sadly, that there was no further Blobby chart success. Obviously, I don't mean that. He would have one single and just one album that was released, but nothing else happened. Interestingly, though, there is a connection between Mr. Blobby and Bradford, where Chris and I both live.
A connection with Mr. Blobby and Bradford.
So the guy who was originally in the suit was a gentleman called Barry Killerby, a classically trained Shakespearean actor born in our fair city. He'd done the suit for over 20 years before deciding to pass on the mantle. The other thing that's worth noting is that in the end of the year charts, this song was at number 6 and had sold more copies than Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
That is staggering. Just shows you how many people watch Noah's House Party, doesn't it? Anyway, for those listening on the radio, we are going to play.
We're not playing it full, please.
Well, mine do, mine do. See how long we can manage. Here's Mr. Blobby.